Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be building Victoria's, which is a restaurant for Sadie. Here I am just back at her house before we get into it. And my game was being like really weird. I baked her some brownies and it just kind of glitched. My game has been glitching a lot and I don't know why. So it's like triggered my fight or flight where I have to save the file like every few minutes, and it's kind of annoying, but when I played it today, it didn't glitch except for that one time. I think it's some of the CC that I downloaded kind of like bugged it or something, but I also heard some people say that like lately their games have just been buggy due to like all the unnecessary updates from EA. So I registered her with the Ministry of Labor because it kind of bothers me. If you talk to a sim and they like find out you're unemployed but own like 5 businesses, it's like, what are we doing, right? I don't know what expansion pack this came with, but I thought it was super cool. I want to say it might have been, I honestly don't even know, but I registered her as a restaurant owner, so now she has like a self-career. So I actually found like a few restaurants from the gallery. There's even a Starbucks I thought would be cool to own because I'd never owned like a cafe before, but it was not letting me buy it, which was really bothering me. So I decided we would just own a restaurant in Strangerville. So here we are at the lot, and then of course it gives you like the little transfer your funds for your business. I just kind of gave her some money to get started. I didn't want to give her a lot. If you guys remember, I gave her about 100,000 just to start with, and I don't really plan on giving her any more money. Kind of just want to see where it goes. I don't really like cheating a lot with like money. I just kind of like giving them something to start with, like an inheritance, I guess you could say. So now I'm just getting into the building. I laid the foundation and I really had no idea. I'm not a big builder when it comes to The Sims. I'm more of like the cast and kind of like clothing, interior decoration I can do, but building by itself was kind of like something interesting, so I decided to just go for it because I hadn't done it in like a really long time. So I just decided to keep it simple, and I put a room to the left for the kitchen, and then these rooms in the back part are going to be bathrooms. I wanted them right next to each other. I thought it'd just be like more simple that way. With any Sims game, as soon as you start running it, and even eventually after, I'll probably expand, but I just wanted to keep it simple. So for some reason, like my brain just could not understand how laying the foundation went, so I just started going in and putting in flooring. And then when I was raising the foundation, fun fact actually, I got about halfway through the build, and then there's one part in the video where I'm like, why can't the stove for the chefs and for the servers to get, like, why is it saying like it's not going? The foundation was like 3 levels too high, and I was like, are we for real? As you can see in this video, I raise it and then totally forget about it. So now I'm just placing the roof and stuff on there. And like I said, roofs kind of like bother me in The Sims 4. I really like in The Sims 3 how it's just like an automatic roof. So after I got the regular shape of the roof, I just kind of took it down a little bit because I don't really like high looking roofs. And then I found out that you can do a glass roof. I never knew that was like possible or even a thing. That might have just been a new like regular pack or base game update, but I thought that was so cool. And it does look like a little weird, but I didn't care. I thought a glass roof was really cool. And then I just added like these roofs for the other half of the building because, like I said, no automatic roofs. And honestly, I could really be lying about this, but I swear there used to be like an option for automatic roofs on. They might have gotten rid of it just for like more creativity, but absolutely not for me. So I started swatching what I wanted the house to be, and I ended up coming with the name Victoria's. I thought it was just like a very classic, classy Italian type of name. My dad was actually gonna name me Victoria, but that got booted. So I guess it's also an homage to what could have been. So I just went in and I kind of chose a little bit of like a tiling industrial type bathroom situation, and then I started messing around with stuff that could be put in like around the building. So I came up with these like little, I guess you could say like pedestals almost, and then I expanded the roof because I was like, why would you have like a pedestal or whatever? And I also decided to put some like trim, and I did like this little like hot pink moment because I thought it'd just be fun to add like a little bit of pink to this like serious, almost like gothic, modern, interesting style looking restaurant. So after finishing the roof, I added some crown molding and added a door and started working on the interior. I added doors first, trying to find a door for the kitchen people, but I wanted something interesting and different. And then I also found doors for the bathrooms because I think that I just felt like, you know, you have to have a bathroom for men and for women, because if not, like the Sims are just gonna use either one. I don't know, I just thought most restaurants have male or female bathrooms. What I thought was interesting is that I had to place the door from the inside of the bathroom so that the male or female figure would come on the outside of the door. I thought that was interesting and I'd never run into that problem before, but I'm also not usually using those doors. And then I wanted something fun and interesting, like I said, for the chef's door, so I just landed on that one. And here's me literally not understanding why I could not use the chef counter. It was bothering me so much because I was obviously using like the keys to want to flip it around. I just could not. Literally took me so long to understand. It was like, what the hell? I even tried like fixing the building itself, and looking back I was like, why did this take me so long to figure it out? So this is after my game started being weird. I came back and I fixed the foundation and everything. I landed on doing a pink theme for the girls and a blue theme for the boys. And then I wanted to add some artwork too. I ended up shortening the walls just because at first I was like, let's have them have a bigger bathroom. But then I was like, I've never been in a bathroom that's really been that big unless it's like a Ruth Chris. And I'm not going for a Ruth Chris vibe in this video. So here's me just kind of decorating it, finding some artwork and stuff. I thought it would be really cool to go in with like this big carpet or maybe even size it down for the bathroom, but for some reason, I don't know, I liked it, and then I was just like, this is dumb because I know that you can just do bb move objects, but okay, I forgot at the time. So I just went in and started messing with the floor and finishing up the bathrooms. So here are the finished bathrooms, and I just landed on pink for the girls, blue for the boys. I found these rugs. I think they're definitely base game. They definitely do give base game or like 10-year ago packs because, you know, EA can't come out with The Sims 5, sadly. But yeah, obviously we will all know in the big 2026 that blue can be a girl's color and pink can be a boy's color. But I just wanted to stick with gender, or I guess older gender identifying colors, because I thought it'd be fun. And I think it's fun to kind of play into characteristics of femininity and masculinity. I don't see what's wrong with that. Here I am just picking out some overhead lighting. I don't know about you guys, but when I do rooms, I feel like overhead lighting is just the easiest and most effective. I'm all for like a really cool lamp in like a living room or maybe even a bedroom, but overhead lighting I feel like just gives the most light. I guess in The Sims 4 I also want them to live under fluorescent lighting like we all do every day, 9 to 5, 365, 365. I'm not a big fan of overhead lighting in general, especially at work, because it's like I just feel like there's no natural light. So that's why I also added a lot of windows, which you'll see later in the playthrough, because while I do like some overhead lighting, right, we also want natural light too. So this is where I kind of stopped working with the outside of the building. I just added the brick that I chose to like in between the roof because I don't know why that just doesn't automatically do it. Kind of bothers me. So anyway, then I started looking for some wallpaper options. Kind of got lost because yeah, I do CC wallpaper. I'm that deep into CC that I CC wallpaper because sometimes the wallpaper and just like stuff that they have in The Sims sucks. I don't know. I love a good CC, doesn't matter. They have a really good SimStees, like 60s, 70s on the Sims resource that I really do love. But obviously I knew that like I had to be like a classy vibe, and I kept telling myself, especially when I was picking out wallpapers, that I had to keep it with the theme. But I don't like really change, like I haven't really changed a lot of like houses, and I really haven't built a lot, just because most of the time, like I told you, I just have like one legacy family. So once I like build a house, I don't really change like the wallpaper. Like to me, like wallpaper, flooring, foundation, outer housing, like I also said, most of the time I get my stuff from the gallery, because then I can just kind of modify it myself and I don't have to worry about all that crap. But yeah, I just finally landed on this kind of like more royal, and I'll never be a royal. Shout out Lord. There's only one Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Can we get an amen? And then I started selling stuff from the inventory just to get a little bit more money. And I landed, like I said, on this like kind of royal looking, definitely more like Italian vibe restaurant wallpaper. And I wanted it to be pink to kind of match the trim on the outside of the roof, because it's like if you see a clear glass roof with pink trim, I think that would make me be like, what? And then I'd also be like, well, where's the pink? You know what I mean? So I decided to do some of the editing off camera for it, and it's also kind of a cute surprise. Okay, are we surprised here? I did CC these tables and the chairs. I think they're supposed to be like wedding chairs, but oh my gosh, they're so cute. They have the little bows, and I just thought it fit perfectly with how we kind of have this more brown wooden interior, and then we have the pink, and then the floor I just kept simple because, you know, people running around dropping food. I got some new servers up in the building, if you know anything about that get to work restaurant, whatever, expansion pack. Oh my gosh, it's dine out. Excuse me, the simmer in me made a mistake. Excuse me. Also, the darndest time trying to get the curtains on the windows for some reason. My game sometimes just bugs, and I don't have like a desktop computer. I'm not cool enough or fancy enough yet to have just like a desktop for The Sims, so that is like a dream of mine. I just play on my like Mac, and I don't even have a mouse. So it kind of came time to put some stuff on the wall, but I was really just even debating if I did want to put some stuff on the wall. I knew I wanted to have some like florals, since I have like a lattice with some plants, but I wanted to keep it within like that darker vibe, because I knew if I did like just like all pink plants, it would like look weird. So I wanted to keep like an earthy vibe. I also feel like some Italian restaurants, maybe one or two that I've been in, I feel like have a lot of like florals or just like garden. I mean, you know, we got Olive Garden, which we all know is like Americanized Italian. I know traditional Italian is not like that. Good thing, right? But like an Americanized Italian, or just when you go Italian, it's like nice, it's fancy, it's like cute, it's dimly lit. When you don't go to Olive Garden, right? It's like dimly lit and all that stuff. So then I was like, I found these cute little cats. So of course I had to put a cat, because I am a cat girl through and through. I grew up with cats. I had 2 cats. Now I just have one, rest in peace, Mr. Rico. And then I also found these little swans to put on the table, and I was just like, oh my gosh, magnifica perfecto, beautiful. I just thought it completely went with the theme. And yeah, it's really girly in here. It's my game. I want to make it girly. If you want to go to a boy restaurant, find a boy simmer. Impossible. Not impossible, just in my realm. There's more girl simmers than guy simmers, and if I'm wrong, whatever. But in my mind, that's correct, right? So it's my game. I want to make it cute. I want to make it pink, and it's going to be girly. So I was like thinking about making the front of the entrance like a little bit bigger. But then I was like, we'll just make it like simple and cute, a little like inviting. And also somewhere for my sim to sit who owns a restaurant when she doesn't like want to be in the restaurant. Because after a certain point, like talking with the customers and all that just gets kind of boring. So that's basically the overlook. And then I started getting into some of the more outdoor stuff like trees. So here we have the outside, and this is like in game. I finally finished and I started working on the menu. Obviously start with the drinks. I start in order. I don't really like doing the templated menu options just because I'm like, no, it's my restaurant. I got this far. I'm finna grade that menu. What do I look like? Mostly I chose to do wines just because when I think of fancy Italian, I think of like wine and maybe like handcraft cocktails. I think I also included like maybe like I also included like some iced tea too, because me and my family were big tea drinkers. Like there's always a gallon or jug of tea, and it's not like store-bought either, it's like homemade, right? We're bougie like that. For the appetizers, I try to keep it like really simple again with like a breadstick, just like Italian stuff. But I also threw in like some stuff I just thought that was like good or sounded good to eat. I wasn't hungry when I made this, surprisingly, but I probably would have been afterwards. I think halfway through I was kind of like, I need a pretzel, I need a snack. For the main courses, obviously the theme, as we have been talking about for the past a minute and a half, maybe longer, has been Italian, so I just tried to choose dishes that were Italian. I honestly couldn't find too many in like the lower categories, and then my inspiration also kind of came from Giovanni's, which is a place back home, not specifically for this entire like restaurant, but just for like the main course menu, because I was thinking of like, well, what else, you have your chicken, you have your steak, pork chops, just like a few other dishes to throw in, because I could not find a lot of essential Italian until I got to like cooking levels 4 and 5, maybe even just 5. But same thing, like when you have a sim and they just start cooking, it's the same thing when you first open a restaurant. You don't want to just have only like really gourmet dishes or like high-end, I guess, scale dishes, because your restaurant's not going to succeed. So you have to have a few of those just like starter meals, just so that like when customers first come to the restaurant, they're not going to tank the ratings, because I've played a lot with the restaurant. It's like one of my favorite things to do, and you just have to have good ratings to build up to like really get credibility, just like anywhere else. So something that's also really cool is that you're able to pick the staff outfits. They come with a few presets if you don't feel like being interesting, but I actually thought it would be really cool to create an outfit, but I had a little bit of trouble at first, and I ended up landing on just like a simple black dress because I thought it would like be cute for the waitresses to wear. And then I also chose an outfit for the host. I just landed on a really cute basic dress. Also, I wanted the waitresses to be able to play into their feminine side and not wear just like the typical jeans or like black slacks. I wanted them to be able to have like a cute little dress to wear, so I landed on a pink dress. So the last step was just to hire the employees. I just kind of chose them at random, but I was just looking for whoever had the highest skill in certain areas, and that actually ended up biting me in the butt because one of the people that I hired was kind of just not working out, but that's okay. So here is my sim literally just like hitting the dab a few times, and of course as soon as I start playing, there's just like this big thunderstorm, so she was just all the sims were like freaking out, and I was just like, okay, go inside, but she just kept standing there, as you see. So then I changed her outfit to formal, and I find it interesting that even though the dress code is formal, she doesn't have to dress up formal, probably because she is a business owner, right? So whatever. One of the first things I do anytime that I have a restaurant is I will talk to all the staff and basically pay for them to have training. I saw this one time when I watched like a very early dine out video, and I feel like it just makes your connection with your staff better and you level them up a lot faster. I do this every time I see them, and obviously my goal is to monopolize and have a few restaurants, but it's always good to just pay for training like right away. And I'm doing the same thing with all of the staff and the chef. Something else that I also do, and I find kind of tedious but also kind of fun, is that you have this interaction where you can check on each sim who comes into the restaurant and the table. Something that really bothered me about, okay, yes, I know it was her first day, whatever, criticizing first on the job, whatever, but the hostess just really gives people like tanks their ratings, and it was bothering me because they were like saying like, geez, I wish this place had better service, blah blah blah. So I'd go up to them, welcome them, check on the table, and I feel like it just makes them like the restaurant more, because if you really think about it, you go to a restaurant and the owner or even like the supervisor comes up to your boss, or okay, boss and owner, same thing, whatever, but maybe not depending on the monopoly, right? I just feel like it enhances the experience, and we're looking to increase that star, okay? 5 stars is where I'm trying to be. So after doing like the basic boss and CEO interactions, you have now been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees. That feels like so long ago, but also just yesterday. I went her just like do her little business, right? Sit outside while everybody handles their job. Had her just kind of browse and let her went on Bloopsy, which that's how like I would say it. But basically I feel like it's like The Sims eBay. And I had her buy this painting, but this painting is actually ugly AF. Very ugly, but you guys can be the judge of that. Also, she keeps saying that she's scared when there's a thunderstorm. Girl, you're not gonna die. Could you imagine if she got struck by lightning? But yeah, look at this painting. Ugly. Immediately sold it. And it was like saying like this historical cool painting. Girl, we all know it was ugly AF. Get out of here. After finding a complete knock on Sim eBay, I went back and just talked to some more customers, and then I got a notification that the chef could not cook everything to the best ability, which I mean, no shit. It's his first day on the job, let's be so for real. But these people don't know that. But also, do they know that? Sometimes I'm like curious about how the Sims like know a restaurant. Like, how do they know to go there if it's never been there before? I think I may be thinking a little bit too critically about a game that's meant to be fun. And are we surprised? No. Are we surprised? Not at all. Okay, this waitress was making me mad because I thought she was a waitress, but she was a waiter. He was a waiter, but he kind of looks like a girl, right? So I was confused why he was not in uniform. And that was kind of really pissing me off. Also, his name, like to me sounded like a girl, and I wanted all girl waitresses, right? So, and I don't know what's wrong with that. That's not me being sexist. I thought the girls' outfits were cuter. I do have an idea that I might hire a cute guy and like, you know, we'll go on a few dates with him. Whatever. Also this chef was chefing for his first day. I think he needs a little bit of a higher level chef. I think we need to give him some credit. Yes, chef. Watch him spin that pot around. I don't think I could ever do that. I think he was capping, and I think they just do that. I think they're just lying. I think EA is lying to me. Everybody's a liar. This is crazy. Something that I also do is I'll also clean up the stuff from the table just because why not? You know, a boss can help out. A boss can serve. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around. This is the end of the playthrough. The next episode will definitely be more focused on gameplay and not just building and me talking about the gameplay. Hope you guys are having a great week, a great day. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Bye, guys.